How to become a real estate agent in Florida. Did you know you do not have to live in Florida to actually be a real estate agent in Florida? In fact, I became a real estate agent in Florida when I lived in Virginia. Florida has one of the best real estate markets in the entire country. It is definitely someplace that you should get your real estate license. If you live here, if you don't live here, I'm going to show you how to get that real estate license in Florida. Let's go.
Noel. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, no, you need to do it better. Well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple step-by-step process on how to get your real estate salesperson license in Florida without any hassle. I'm going to share with you 3 easy tricks that you can do to pass the exam on the first try. And I'm going to share with you how to get a mentor so that you can be successful right from the start. Becoming a real estate agent in Florida was one of the best decisions that I ever made. I literally got my real estate license in Florida when I lived in Virginia. Florida has states that they have reciprocity with, meaning if you live in certain states, and I will put a list on the screen so that is the most accurate information at the time of this recording of all of the states that Florida has reciprocity with right now. If you live in Florida, of course, and you're a Florida resident, you can get a Florida real estate license and you can start practicing real estate in Florida. But even if you don't live in Florida, if you're in one of these states that we share reciprocity with, you can get your real estate license and you can start practicing real estate in Florida, even from a different state, or get licensed before you even move here like I did. So let me tell you some secrets on how to get that license. So in order to get your real estate license in the state of Florida, there are just a few simple things that you have to be. You have to be at least 18 years old. Unfortunately, you cannot be 15 or 16 and get your real estate license. You do actually have to be an adult. That's a very simple requirement, and that's the first requirement. The second requirement is that you have to have a high school diploma or an equivalent, or like a GED, general education diploma. So in other words, you can't just be a high school dropout. You literally have to have finished some type of secondary schooling and have finished that high school diploma or the GED. Again, a very simple requirement, but it is required in order to get your Florida real estate license. And the third thing is you have to have a valid social security number. So if you are not a US citizen and you don't have your social security number, then you're probably going to have a harder time getting your real estate license. I have heard that there's some workarounds for people that have a green card and things like that, but you must have a valid social security number. Those are the only 3 things that you need in order to apply for your real estate license, and those are the minimum required. So let me tell you how you will begin the process to get that license in weeks, not years. So it can take just a few weeks, or it can take up to 2 years to get a real estate license in Florida. I've literally seen people take the exam, take the class, pass it, and have their real estate license and be working as a real estate agent in less than 3 weeks. I've also met people that have been working on it for nearly 2 years. Let me explain, because it really is going to depend on you, your commitment, and how fast you want to get this license. So the first thing that you need is to take a 63-hour pre-license course. Everyone in the state of Florida that wishes to take the real estate exam must have already completed 63 hours of pre-license education. You literally can Google 63-hour pre-licensure course or whatever and find lots of different real estate schools that offer this course. This is a course that can cost up to $1,000, but it can cost as little as less than $500. Literally, you can take this class, again, it's 63 hours, and you can be finished in 1 week if you do it online, or you can take in-person classroom instruction and it will take you a little bit longer, but you will have a teacher. I made an entire video where I talk about becoming a real estate agent, and I said in that video, I strongly recommend that you take the online class. 1, because you can do it at your own pace. 2, it's much cheaper. And 3, you do get access to an instructor. Almost every online course has a button where you can chat or you can get connected with an actual person that can help you with some understanding or even give you a tutor for 1 or 2 sections that you are having issues with. So in other words, taking the class online would be the most efficient way to do it. It's what I've done. I've actually been licensed as a real estate agent since 2006. My first license was in 2006. 2006 in Georgia, but since then I've been licensed in Virginia, I've been licensed in Georgia, I've been licensed in Texas, and now I'm licensed in Florida. So I've taken this test in many different states and in many different scenarios, and the only time I ever went to a classroom was that first time in 2006. Ever since then, I've been doing it online, and I've been recommending to other people to do it online because it is a lot more efficient. Once you have signed up for the pre-licensure course, the 63 hours in Florida, you will of course have to pass quizzes and exams, and you actually have to pass the course. At the end of the course, there's going to be an exam that you have to pass. And in most cases, you have to get a 70 on that exam in order to pass. However, it is not difficult to pass the exam for the real estate class because it's just, a summary of everything that you learned in real estate school. The state exam is usually a little bit harder, but I'm going to get to that in just a second. So like I said, step one, you take the 63 hours of pre-licensing course. Then the second thing is you're going to pass the exam that comes with that course. Once you've passed that exam, you are now officially on your way to becoming a real estate agent. And there's just a few more easy steps to do. Let me share that. So now it's time to take the state exam. But before you can take the state exam, you actually have to do fingerprinting. So one of the important things that people don't realize is you cannot have a criminal background and become a real estate agent. If you have major felonies, if you have like open cases, you're probably not going to be approved to sit for the real estate exam. They literally will let you take that course, they will let you take the exam, but before you can actually take the state exam, you have to do your fingerprinting and you have to do the application with the DBPR, which is the Department of Business and Professional licensing that for the state of Florida. Literally, you do your fingerprints, and again, very inexpensive. You go right to the website, the DPBR. You say that I'm a real estate agent. You open up the application. You do the fingerprints. Once the fingerprints are returned back to the DBPR, then you complete your application, and then they let you take the state exam. That is the process on how you are able to sit for the Florida real estate exam. Even if you are in a different state, for example, and you are getting reciprocity with Florida, you still will have to do the fingerprinting and you still will have to do the application with the DBPR. This is all done online. It is very simple. You actually get your fingerprints almost at different places like pack mail stores and shipping stores. You don't have to go anywhere special. You do have to pay the money for the fingerprints, but once they come back and you don't have any criminal background, then they will let you take the exam. And again, even if you're in a different state, you do not have to travel to Florida. You can take the state exam online. Let me share that part. Now that it's time to take the state exam, you will do awesome. The one thing that I want to recommend is that you study for the state exam. This exam that you took at the end of real estate school is a lot easier than the state exam. So many people have asked, is the real estate test hard? Why do so many people not pass it on the first try? Is it really that difficult to pass? And I have 2 master's degrees. Literally, I have 3 degrees. I have a degree from UConn, I have a degree from Penn State, and I have another master's degree from Baylor. And I am here to tell you, yeah, the test is a little hard. I literally have failed the test my own self, and I consider myself pretty smart, but it's not about being smart. They oftentimes ask you questions that you really don't use as a real estate agent. Therefore, you have to study for the exam and learn the information, even if you're going to forget it later. The easiest thing to do is when you went to real estate school, they often sell or offer to you where you can get a state exam study package. I strongly recommend it. I know it costs more money, but if you do what I tell you with business credit and business funding, not only is it as a tax deduction or a tax write-off, you literally can use business credit cards and business funding to pay for you getting your real estate license, and again, write the whole thing off on your taxes as well. So I suggest that you pay for that extra study pack and that you study really hard for the state exam because it is much different than the real estate exam from just the course. It is much harder. I will personally tell you that they ask you a lot of math questions where you have to figure out what the mortgage payment is, where you have to do it manually with a calculator. They will ask you like seller prorations and buyer prorations. So for example, if Jane closes on June 30th and she has to cover all the taxes from January to June, and then the buyer picks it up from July 1 to, the rest of the year, how much does Jane owe? Questions like that you are going to have to study for. They're not difficult, but you need to be able to calculate what the daily amount for things are. You have to be able to take something that's $10,000 and divide it by 365 days and then count that, that is 78 days and then multiply that. And so there's a lot of math, not difficult math, just arithmetic math that you have to do in order to pass the Florida real estate exam. I would even say that the Florida real estate exam has more math questions than the Texas one or the Georgia one or the Virginia one that I took. I would actually say that Florida was one of the more difficult ones, not because it was necessarily a hard test, but because they asked a lot of questions about prorations and seller credits, and that is not something that you will actually do as a real estate agent. I'm literally a licensed real estate broker, and I still don't do those calculations. So just know that you have to study for it, you have to learn this, but you pass the test and then you'll never have to do that math again. Are you looking for Noelle Randall to mentor you? Well, I have a few open spots in my mentorship. Just go to noellerandall.com/mentorship and pick one of the mentorship programs available. We literally have silver, gold, and platinum available to you at all different levels to help you in your journey. It's a small commitment. I've opened up and committed myself to mentoring more people, and we have made the prices even more affordable, and we've made the commitment and the time commitment much less. You literally can get mentorship directly from me. I'm literally on those calls teaching you, mentoring with you, and again, I only partner with my students, so you literally could be one of my potential students that I partner with just by joining the mentorship program. It's an awesome opportunity to take yourself to that next level, whether you're a real estate agent or you're a real estate investor, or you're just an entrepreneur and you want to take your business to the next level. No matter where you are on your journey, Noelle Randall can help. Go to noellerandall.com/mentorship right now. Spots are filling up, space is limited, and I want to mentor as many people as I can this year. Again, that's Noelle Randall, Noelle, Randall, RANDALL.com/mentorship. And mentorship is MENTORSHIP. noellerandall.com/mentorship. You asked for mentorship. I'm here to mentor you. Let's do it. I want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the tools, and all of the knowledge that you need to be successful. This is Noelle. To your success.